So it's halfway through the year, and I wanted to post my top 10 favorite books so far of the year. I have read over 50 books so far this year, and that is incredible. These books are in no particular order, and I'm only going to give you like a little snippet of why I loved it or why you should read it. So the first one is Monstrilio. This was a fantastic horror read. I actually label this more as a horror lit fic. I think there's a lot more to do with the dynamics of family in here than the horror, but there's definitely some gruesome scenes, so check your warnings if you need to. The Reformatory. This was my first 5-star read of the year. It is a historical horror set in, I believe, the 1950s in Florida, and you're following two children who have a very, very bad day, and the youngest of them, the brother, gets sent to a reformatory. If Beale Street Could Talk by James Baldwin. This is the only novel written by Baldwin that has a female lead, and this was a fantastic lit fic. I truly fell in love with the couple and the secondary characters that they interacted in the world. This is heavily showcasing what it was like to live in the 1970s in New York City as a Black person. The Fractured Dark by Megan E. O'Keefe. This is the second book in the Devoured Worlds trilogy. It was phenomenal. This is how second books should be in a series. The easiest way I can put it is it's two people who shouldn't be working together to find a solution as to why certain worlds are being blighted by a substance that's being used by humanity to survive for longer periods of time. It's very fun, it's very fast, it's very good. If I forgot to mention, this is a sci-fi. We Used to Live Here. This was a phenomenal read. This is a horror book. All I can tell you is that a family knocks on the door of a home where a woman with a lot of anxiety answers it, and they say they used to live here. I just can't tell you more than that. It was an incredible read. Highly recommend the audiobook. Claymore Volume 1. This is a fantasy manga, and it's basically the Witcher series, but if it were women. Fantastic. I need to pick up more of the volumes so that I can continue reading this. Legacy of Ash. This is the first book in the Legacy trilogy. I was very surprised with how much I loved this epic fantasy, and I can't wait to continue on with the trilogy. If you like slower fantasies with tons of POVs and a very dark, sinister feel, you'll definitely enjoy this one. Dominion by Addie E. Citchens. This was a phenomenal lit fic. If you love drama in a Baptist church setting, you will absolutely devour this lit fic. It was so good, and I also highly recommend the audiobook. Now for the two books that I don't physically have, but I definitely need to get. The first one is The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw. If you want to read a fantasy horror queer novella, I'd highly recommend picking this one up. You're following a plague doctor and a mute mermaid as they travel very shortly into a town that is run by children, and something seems to be very odd about them. And last but certainly not least is the works of Vermin. This book has taken over my life in so many different ways. If you want a queer horror book that is stemmed in love and care, you definitely need to pick it up.